A new Covenant villain is introduced to the Silver Timeline in Halo Season 2. However, fans of the original games and books may recognize him from another project. Master Chief John 117 is still looking for evidence that the Covenant, an extraterrestrial alliance, has already entered the UNC's stronghold planet of Reach, as seen in Halo Season 2, Episode 3. In order to achieve this, the Master Chief listens to a terrifying tape left by a perilous new adversary, who will probably turn into a new adversary. In his desperation to prove what he saw in the colony world of Sanctuary and evidence that the Covenant is planning a major offensive, John 117 has very few allies left, despite his best efforts to persuade his superiors, including ONI's James Ackerson, who took over the Spartan program following Dr. Catherine Halsey's arrest at the end of Halo Season 1. But the truth will eventually come to light, especially after John 117 hears a recording from Var Gatanai, a new enemy who might be the first Arbiter in the Halo series and one of the Covenant's Sanghali elites. John 117 meets with Corporal Perez, a UNSC communications specialist and the only other person who observed the Covenant's elites, along with Makee, on Sanctuary, as seen at the very end of Halo Season 2, Episode 3. In order to achieve this, Perez discloses that she uncovered a covert communication from a Sanghali elite, known as Var Gatanai, that was hidden beneath the interference of Sanctuary's relay station. I bestow blessings upon the people of Reach. Recognize that I have arrived without compassion or mercy. Recognize that I am the tool used to exterminate you. This plant is what I offer as a burnt offering. I lay the demon's head upon this altar. May his blood dedicate the great journey of my people and mark the path to the sacred ring. Recognize me as Var Gatanai. Recognize that I am death. This message from Sanctuary confirms John 117's suspicion that the Covenant were only holding drills in anticipation of a far bigger offensive on Reach that appears to have started already. In light of this, Var Gatanai appears to be spearheading the attack on this central colony world, giving the Covenant fleet and ground forces orders in addition to designating John 117 as the final victim of the Holy Crusade to recover the Halo rings. It's important to remember, though, that Var does not appear in the original Halo video games or literature. Rather, he's the newest Covenant antagonist on the Halo television series. Thel Vadam, an elite Sanghali, led the Covenant troops during the fall of Reach and was ultimately accountable for over 1 billion fatalities during the Human-Covenant War, according to the storyline of the original Halo video games and books. But in the end, as seen in the original Halo game, he would fail in his mission to guard Installation 04, the first of the 7 Halo rings. This resulted in his retribution and metamorphosis into the Arbiter, a disgraced Sanghali warrior selected for the riskiest suicide missions by the Covenant's prophets in an effort to restore honor. That being said, once the prophets deserted the Sanghali in favor of the Jiralhana, also known as Brutes, there would be significant division between Covenant groups known as the Great Schism, which would lead to Thel Vadam and many of his fellow elites siding with humanity, as seen in Halo 2 and beyond. But Var Gatanai appears to be a possible former Arbiter who is now in charge of Covenant forces on Reach. This suggests that Thel Vadam's Arbiter may have been replaced in the Halo series. The Silver Timeline of the Halo television series is unique from that of the video games and literature, enabling the program to forge its own continuity with alterations while presenting its own interpretation of the Human-Covenant War. A few fundamental themes are still present, but there are also fresh ideas and personalities, such the woman Makee, a blessed one brought up by the Covenant who likewise hopes for humanity's demise. Given that the Halo series is attempting to construct its own narrative regarding Reach's fall, the introduction of a new character like Var Gatanai makes logical. Nevertheless, this does not imply that Thel Vadam has been completely replaced either. After all, in a possible Halo Season 3, Vadam might still be assigned to guard the first ring and might still end up serving as the Covenant's Arbiter in the future.